I'd like to show you a puzzle or game for one person that Ed Kirkby came up with. Or Ed showed this to me at the Big Mathsjam meeting a couple of years ago, last year. So I was walking around Mathsjam and people were doing all sorts of stuff, and Ed was quietly sat at a table with some cards in front of them, and a couple of people were gathered around with thoughtful faces. So I thought, oh, that looks interesting, and I walked over and Ed explained the rules of this game to me. And like most things at Mathsjam, I didn't immediately know the solution, but it really got me, and I went away and tried to find a solution myself, and it was really fun, and it was such an experience. It was one of those things that you really remember. It really got to me, and I kept grabbing other people and saying, have you seen Ed's puzzle? Come over and Ed, explain this puzzle to this person. So I was doing that the duration of the weekend. So I'll show you what the puzzle is. I need some cards for this, and I'm going to go with the cards from 1 to 4 to start with, twice. So I've got 2 lots of each of the numbers 1 to 4. Okay, so I put them in 2 rows and I've laid them out 1, 2, 3, 4. And the aim of the game is to get them the other way round. So they'll go 4, 3, 2, 1. The things you are allowed to do are to swap 2 cards that are adjacent and adjacent numbers. So I can swap this 4 and 3 here. I can also swap to the other row. The adjacent just means in adjacent columns. So I can swap these 2 here. I can't swap the 4 and the 2 because they're not adjacent numbers. But I can swap the 2 and the 3. Okay, so you start the game with them in that order, and the aim is to just keep swapping cards until they're the other way around. It's a permutations puzzle. And with a bit of thinking, a lot of just making random moves, eventually I worked out how to do it for 4 cards, or 2 lots of 4 cards. And it took me a few more goes to be sure that I'd found the shortest solution, the fewest moves. But then 5 really stumped me. 6, after I'd got 5, 6, I just wasn't sure it was possible. There's a point where you get stuck. So I was really unsure, and Ed was unsure as well. They didn't know if there was a solution for everything. They'd written some code that very slowly churned out solutions for small n, but didn't have a general solution. So I did all of my usual problem-solving techniques, which was if I couldn't do it with 4 cards, I'd do it with 3 cards, and very briefly with 2 cards. I put them back, and then after a while I sort of started seeing a pattern. I came away from Big Mathsjam not knowing how to solve this puzzle. I kept playing with it when I should have been working, and eventually I think I've sort of got the vibe of how it works, and I'm pretty sure now I can solve it for any number of cards. I haven't written down a really rigorous algorithm for doing it, but I've got a general idea. So what I'll do now is I'll solve it for 4 cards. You can maybe skip this bit if you don't want to have it spoiled. This is one way of doing it. I think there are quite a few. Okay, so here we go. And I won't explain what I'm doing as I go, because I'll save that for later. Something that often happens when you're playing with cards or physical pieces is that I want to do 2 moves here. I want to say that, well, these are sort of the same, and I can shift them around. So I'll try my best to actually put something down each time I make a move. Okay. So I've got a 4 over at the end here. That's good progress. I'm not counting my moves here. I'm not sure that I'm doing this at all in the quickest way. I hope that I'm making valid moves every time. I think I am. The last thing I need is this ace to be over here. There we go. So that's it, solved. So you can add on another couple of cards. Once I got to having a row of 6 or so along, I kept forgetting which way I was going, because when you don't know, when you don't have a strategy, you're sort of making lots of moves and see where they'll go, and then maybe want to backtrack a bit. Then you go like, wait, were aces over here to start with, or were they over here to start with? So that was tricky. And playing with physical bits is tricky. I mean, continually picking up cards and doing this nonsense and then remembering that stuff goes out of the way where it shouldn't be allowed to go. That's no good. So it won't surprise you to learn that I made an online version of this, and I'll cut across to that now. Okay, so Big Mathsjam happens in November, and by the time I'd got this online version working, it was getting close to Christmas, and I thought we need something that not playing cards to be the pieces here. So I thought, well, why shouldn't it be baubles? They're circles, they're easy to draw. So this is the game, and I've got a row here of 5 baubles. I'll just make that fewer. I'll make it 4 because I've already done that solution. So I've coded this up. I've added in a little guide here to show where I need to end up with, so I can swap these things around. And there we go. So I can move some bits. There we go. I won't go through the whole solution. So this is online. A nice Christmas puzzle, I think. I think the setup's easy to remember. The rules are easy to remember. So if you've got some playing cards out of your Christmas cracker, or just some pieces that you can definitely tell what order they go in, try showing this to someone over Christmas if there's a quiet moment. So there you go. That's the double back puzzle invented by Ed Kirkby, online version made by me.